Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Meditation Minyan. I'm Rabbi Hannah Leslie Glazer, congregation at Dat Re'im, and we want to welcome everybody who is with us in person or watching the recording later on. We're glad you're here. So we are going to be working on a practice of mindfulness today, a practice of mindfulness and awareness. And we were talking the last couple of weeks about all of the changes and that are happening in our world as we come out of the pandemic. Last week, we practiced stillness, which held a container. And now we're going to explore what happens in that container, which is awareness of what's going on. What is actually going on? So we are going to we're going to try a pretty a basic mindfulness practice. All right. So without further ado, we'll get started. So you can sit back in your seat, rest in your seat. Feel the seat underneath you, supporting you. Feel it against your back, supporting you. You may wish to pull your shoulders up and back and down. Open up the heart space. And breathe. Feel the heart expanding with the breath. Notice what happens in the body as you breathe into that heart space. Just notice. You want to be making sure that your breaths out are at least as long as your breaths in, if not even a count or two longer. Then we want to take a couple of breaths into the belly, all the way down below the diaphragm, so that you can feel the belly expand. And then very slowly let the breath out. And as you're letting the breath out, you can think about letting all of the breath out all the way down to the bottom of the belly. Kind of like cleaning out the bottom of a jar or a bowl. Getting those last little bits of air out of the belly before we take another breath in. Let's do a quick scan of the body and just check in for areas of tension. I'm going to start with the crown of the head and the forehead and the eyebrows. If you feel tension there, you can breathe into that space and then allow it to relax. And then the eyes, the eyeballs, the eye sockets, the jaw, the neck, shoulders. Let each breath just melt you a little more into your seat. Or if you're lying down, then into the ground. The heart space, the mid back and the lower back. The hips. The legs. And the feet. You may wish to wiggle your toes a little bit and then plant them firmly into the earth and really feel your feet rooting into the earth. If you're seated, if you're on your back, you would root your spine, the points of your back that touch the earth. Really feel that connection. And that connection is a support. It is an energy source. As is the air that you breathe in. An energy source and a source of connection with all that is. And if you haven't yet, you can switch back to normal breath, gentle breath. And wherever you breathing into is fine. Belly, chest, doesn't matter. Just breathe normally. And take a moment to notice the sounds around you. In my case, I hear birds. I hear my refrigerator motor. I do not hear cicadas this morning. Take in the sounds that you hear, whatever they are. Notice if you have any reaction to those sounds. Whatever the reaction is, it's welcome. Just notice it, acknowledge it. And then notice where your mind follows next. Just notice. No judgments. No judgments. Anything that comes into the mind, welcome it without judgment. Notice it. And then focus back on the sounds in your environment. The idea here is to actually notice what thoughts are coming up and be aware of them and experience them. We're not trying to push thoughts out of the mind. In this practice, we're noticing them, welcoming them in, and then gently turning our attention back to our anchor, which in this case is the ambient sounds in your space. It's a practice of awareness, of mindfulness, of what's coming up for you in this moment, in this moment, in this moment. And we're going to have another 6 minutes to explore this practice, and I'll be back very shortly. Welcome back to the room. I hope this practice of awareness, of mindfulness, was fruitful for you. We'll have an opportunity to talk about it a little bit. It's a practice you can do anytime to get connected with what's going on inside, and to notice what's really going on. And it's a great way to check in and feel centered anytime during the day. Just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, easy to do. All right. Well, it's thanks again for joining us for Meditation Minyan, and we'll see you next week.